with a prayer. I think all of you know it. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are on chapter 9. Everybody has Bhagavat Geeta, right? Chapter 9, verse 26. That's what we will do today. So we saw that Krishna Bhagavan was talking about two different kinds of people in last several verses before. One who want the highest, who want Bhagavan, and the other one worship him with the desire. And we saw that the last verse said that the basic idea was whatever you want, whatever you think, that's what you will become. Even though everything is coming from Bhagavan only, but if you don't want the highest, you will get a limited result. In a nutshell, that's what we saw. So now we will go to the next verse. And since we are meeting in person, maybe we can do lead follow and you guys can repeat it. On Zoom, we don't get that luxury to do, so let's try that over here. Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pusham phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti pruhatam.
Tadaham bhakti
Pruhatam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Ashnami prayatatmanaha. So patram is a leaf, pushpam a flower, phalam fruit, toyam is a slightly different word, it means water. Yaha is who, me, to me, bhaktya, with devotion, prayachati, offers, tat, that, aham, I, bhakti uprahatam, offered with devotion, ashnami, to eat. Eat over here we'll consider accept. Prayat atmanaha, by the pure minded. So, different swamis take different things from it, and all of them are kind of important. Chinmayananji took a very nice approach, and you will connect to it very nicely. And so did Dilli Wale Swami also did a great job, Nikhilananji. So many different swamis, I get confused. But Nikhilananji did a great job too because he brought out many important points. So Bhagavan says in this, Yaha is the who, means the people who do this. Bhaktya, we know bhakti, the word has come from bhakti, with a lot of devotion, love, respect, dedication, all of that come in that word. And prayachyati means offers. So offer what? Either patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. It can be anything. It can be a fruit, it can be a flower, and nothing else is there, leaf. Even you can't find that, water, which is available everywhere, free. Maybe not in San Diego free, America free, but you know what I mean. So Bhagavan says, I accept that. The word is ashnami means to eat, but here we have to look at it as I accept it. By whom? The prayat atmanaha, pure-minded devotee who has a pure mind. Whatever we offer, I will accept with a pure mind and love. So that's the basic thing, but let's go more in detail. So how Nikhilananji was explaining that here now Bhagavan is introducing bhakti. Because when we think of bhakti, first thing comes to our mind is, singing the bhajans and all. That's great, fantastic. Nobody's saying no. But what it really means, so essence of, so this particular one tells you how you can approach Bhagwan with what kind of devotion. And the next verse actually is like essence of bhakti. It goes even one step further. Bhagwan goes in stages. So that's how we have to look at it. So here, it's dedication to whom? To that supreme reality, highest, And the ultimate culmination of bhakti, is what? Is actually offering ourselves to Bhagwan only, but that's very difficult. It's like dropping your ego and all that. But that's called Atma Samarpan, when we kind of don't have any ego left. But that's a very higher stage, but that's a final stage. When you offer yourself, so Bhagwan is slowly leading us to it, how to do it, because suddenly you cannot do it. So, and then how Nikhilanandaji was explaining that when you do that Atma Samarpan, that's the time you become one with God, right? How do we understand becoming one? So he gave a very good worldly example, like the food that I eat. After a while, it becomes one with me, whatever I eat, right? So something like that, we have to become one. So how do we do this? To start with great purity and love we have to offer. So right now, I don't have... if she wants to join, she can bring a chair inside. Yeah. Chair, okay. So right now I may not have that love and purity, but I have to create that bhav in me. Feeling that attitude in my heart, dedicating everything to God. That's the final thing. But what Krishna Bhagwan is saying, hey, start with a very simple thing. That's why he started with a patram, leaf. Leaf, you can get it anywhere. Flower, maybe you have to wait for it to bloom and all. Leaves are available all the time, And then Nikhilanandaji was saying that suppose even if you don't have a leaf, you can mentally give it to. That also works. So start somewhere, because in the end we'll all realize, after studying Bhagavad Gita, everything belongs to Bhagwan only. So it's like, that is the ultimate, but right now I don't know how to do that, right? I don't know how to do that Atma Samarpan. So that's why, instead of Atma Samarpan, you do Arpan. Start with that, So that is a very important thing. And then he was reminding us that you may have, this particular Shloka. It's a very famous one. Kayena vacha mansendriyava, right? Buddhi manatva prakrute subhava karomi yadya sakaram paraspe narayana. Everybody knows. See that? So did we ever think about what is the meaning of it? So just go by, Kayena means with body, manase, indriya we know, buddhi se, buddhi atmana, और जो मेरा स्वभाव है उससे जो भी मैं कुछ करती हूँ करोमि यत्र I offer it to Bhagwan. See how that means. So this verse is same. This is from Bhagavatam, but it completely matches, that one. And who is Narayan? That Narayan is okay. वो लेटे हुए हैं वो वाले एक नारायण. पर यहाँ पर जो बोल रहा है supreme, personality, supreme abode of entire cosmos, So that's what I offer to him, everything. So that's what the whole bhav is. So what Nikhilanandaji was saying, practically what happens is whenever I do an action, who do I offer it to usually? I literally offer it to myself because I'm doing it to gain something for my ego, So that's how usually we are. Or if we are a little large-hearted, we might offer it to our family. I'm doing it for my family, my friends, my relatives. So we can go that far. Usually that's where we get stuck, So what he was trying to say is, this is the fact, this is like a scientific fact. Whoever you offer your actions to, that's where your emotion and energy flows. You see that? If I'm doing it for myself, I'm very limited. But then I'm doing it for my son or my husband or my family or my relative, then your energy flows in that direction, right? That's a scientific fact. So this is what he was saying. And then when the energy flows, you start developing like an affinity. kind of love towards that, because you are doing all these things. And he's saying that this is the scientific process that happens. The dedication brings, you develop love, and then in that love, you will start sacrificing things without, kind of feeling bad about it. See, when we sacrifice anything for our family, our relative and all, we are happy to sacrifice, right? It can be time, it can be money, it can be effort, it can be your talent, whatever. So, and then he's saying that extreme cases, like suppose somebody has a love for their country, like this Desh Bhakti, they will even sacrifice their life, right? So see, the whole thing, it is a known fact that can happen. So that's where we have to understand this. So what here was saying that whatever your altar of dedication is, that's where the energy will flow. So you decide what your altar of energy wants to be. And here Bhagwan is directing us to make that altar the highest. Okay, but then it's a process. Okay, so he was just saying that if we were to have the altar as Bhagwan in the correct manner, then our energy will flow towards that. That will be true bhakti. Then the other singing and everything will come naturally, things like that. So he's saying that that's what our ultimate goal should be, the deep desire to dedicate ourselves to God. But how do I start? So he's saying that you start with Patram Pushpam first. Practice that way slowly. And then when it culminates in the highest bhakti, then it becomes Atma Nivedanam. You must have heard different kinds of bhaktis. Whoever has done Narad Bhakti Sutra, or there are 9 different kinds of bhakti. Usme Atma Nivedanam is the highest kind when you're offering samarpan to yourself, And then he was just saying that when we say, love, how do we define love? So love is expressed as seva. Seva, dedication, sacrifice. That is the love in action. You can, I love you, you can say, but then if you're not doing anything for that person, it's just a hollow words, right? So this is, what is it? Huh? Oh, acha, ये गुजराती word है? लुखा, अच्छा कुछ उसमें, oh, I got it. घी नहीं है उसके ऊपर, लुखा. I got it. Sukha, right? So how much can one person sacrifice? So ultimate sacrifice is our ego. You must have heard of that. So when I become 0, he said, God becomes 100%. I thought this is very nicely explained to us. And then we know that famous, Kabir Das ji ka doha, ki prem gali ati sakhari, usme do na samaye. That's where we got it from. That, hey, that you have to offer yourself, and that is the main thing, okay? So what is complete when we become 0 means I don't have any ahankar left, So he was just saying that the interesting thing about ego is, ego does not like to sacrifice anything. There is one exception. Only when in love you will sacrifice. When you really love someone, you are ready to sacrifice everything very happily. Other than that, ego will not budge. And that's why he was saying that that's what we have to develop, for Bhagwan, And then we saw that when the moment you love something, it becomes like a very important thing in your life. That's when, love for the country, you will sacrifice even your life. That's how it's coming from, This is how you have to see it. So the technique is, how do I start loving Bhagwan? You start offering slowly, and in that process you realize, hey, actually everything belongs to Bhagwan only. As we study Bhagavad Gita, right, we will realize it. And then you offer yourself, because you are one with God actually to begin with, and then it will become natural, okay? So he was just saying that what Bhagwan is telling, the technique, that these things are available everywhere. In our neighborhood, you can pick something and all that. And then in our Aarti, it's a most famous line. Tera tujhko arpan, kya lage mera, right? So now you know where the connection is coming from here only. And it's a beautiful statement when we say that, but we have to understand. And why it is there? Because everything belongs to Bhagwan. If we do a little bit of thinking, we know we didn't bring anything with us. We are not going to be able to take, we are just using it over here, And so in the beginning, when I'm offering, he's saying that even हम लोग इंडिया में नारियल वगैरह बहुत चढ़ाते हैं ना, तो हम लोग को ऐसी फीलिंग होती है, ओ मैं मेरा नारियल चढ़ा रही हूँ, right? We all say, oh, I'm bringing this stuff and all that. So then you have to progress in it. Slowly that, hey, remind yourself, hey, this nariyal is not mine. And actually somebody said about this Makhan Chori ki Leela also, which I don't know if you've heard of it. He's saying, hey, how can Bhagwan do this chori, Baba? Chori to hum log bachcha bolte mat karo. तो वो किसी संत ने बोला, actually he is not the chore, you are the chore. Because what we are doing, hiding it up, mera hai, to Bhagwan, mera hai. He's showing us, that's why he's doing. He's not doing any chori, but you are the chore. He's just reminding you who's the chore is over here. So that's what it is. And then the most important thing I think he said is that remove our claim on the objects that we are offering to him. That's why tera tujhko arpan, right? That mera kuch nahi hai, ye aap hi ka hai. I'm just giving it, that's all. And then he was just saying that this kind of bhav and offering doesn't need anything special. You don't need to do any special mantra. You don't need to go to any special mandir. You don't need to do any big vrat. I mean, how simple Bhagwan made it, right? So to have that firm understanding that everything belongs to Bhagwan only. And to go one step further, the next step is what he said that, oh Bhagwan, I belong to you. So he's saying every day we have to keep this in mind. That will help us progress in this path of bhakti, Otherwise, we will just get stuck. And he said there is another famous doha of Tulsi Das Ji. I don't know the words, but the meaning is, hey Bhagwan, I'm yours. You can do whatever you want with me. So if you want to, like our teacher used to say, you want to keep me in the gutter? That's fine. If you want to keep me in the, that's like the ultimate bhakti. We may not be there, but there are people like that. If you want to keep me in the palace, that's fine, because I belong to you, you can do whatever. So that's what. So it's a two-stage sadhana to summarize it. One is that everything belongs to God, and this highest stage is I belong to you. So when I say I belong to you, all of my things also come automatically with it, right? So that's how we start. So, and then he was just saying there are some two technical words, I don't know if you've heard of it. Ahankar, mamatvam and ahankar, right? These two things we have to give up. So there is a verse also, nirmamo nirahankara, ek aayega abhi isme Gita mein aayega further for chapters mein. So aham and ahankar you have to give up. So mamatvam means ye mera, you have to drop that, and ahankar is dropping the ego. So even technically you can go with this verse that give up these two things. So he was just reminding us that bhakti, now we understand, right, what bhakti is, creating that attitude in our mind, and nothing belongs to me and I also belong to God. And I think once you know that, you can forget about the patram pushpam also. That is the highest. But to begin with, we need something, right, to create that attitude. And then one more point he was saying, that usually, we say, oh, my family, my children, my relative, my friends and all that. And all it is that God has just given us permission to use it. That's it. Nothing. Even children, sitting over here, we think that they come from through you, right? They are not yours. So that we have to understand that too. So he's saying it's just like we go to somebody's house and we are mehman over there, right? Okay, you can go, they will let you use everything and all, but when you're leaving, you can't take their furniture, their things. They might give you a little gift. That's about it. Other than that, the same way, we have to remind ourselves this. We have come on this earth, Bhagwan ka hai, we are using it, everything belongs to him. That's the whole idea over here. And he gave a very nice drishtant. A lot of you may be reading Ramayana. I thought it was a very beautiful drishtant. So it seems like the time when Ramchandraji has to go to the Van, right? So now he wanted to go alone. He's trying to convince that I have to go alone. But Lakshman said, where you go, I'm going to go. So Ramchandraji, it seems, is trying to tell him, अरे यहाँ रहो, ये तुम्हारे माता पिता हैं, इनकी सेवा करो. तो बोला, मैं कुछ नहीं जानता. जहाँ आप हो, वहाँ मेरी अयोध्या है. And then you are telling me this one is your father, this one is your mother. I don't know even that. You are my mother, you are my father, you are my friend, you are my relative. You are everything to me. I'm going with you. See that bhav? That for him, so he's saying that's what you have to, that's where we learned this, and we saw in this chapter itself, Bhagavan said it, I am your father, I am your mother, I am your grandfather, I am your friend. He's saying that's what makes him the highest thing. And even Tulsidas Ji says that, consider God your mata, pita, guru, everything. And the other, he said one more very important thing, that you have to see other way around too. That suppose if you're a Shiva Bhakta or Krishna Bhakta, say, so you have to say that, okay, everything belongs to him, and that other people are also expression of Krishna only. See what I'm saying? So it's a two-way thing, that in Bhakti, the ultimate Bhakti is when you see God in other people. So I thought he brought up very good. Otherwise it just says, just like that. So that's what it is. And then the next verse is going to be when Bhagavan says, whatever you do, offer it to me. That's it. But that is like the ultimate. But he's starting with this Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Any question? Any comment? Pita Tvameva. Exactly. Bilkul. There are so many different things, right, in ours to remind us. But sometimes this is what happens. We just say it without thinking about it, right? These kind of contemplation helps us to do.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you say you offer pushpam, phalam, you're talking about the ritual part of it,
right?
And so in order for us to progress to the next step, that is the necessary step in order for us to make it.
It's a very good step, true. And then when we read Swamiji's commentary, we think that Patram Pushpam is important. It's a secondary thing. It is going to say two things, devotion and pure mind. If you don't have that, no matter what you give, you can give your entire wealth, and if you don't have those two, it will be useless. And if you have those two, you can just give water also. It's a big thing. So how you give, what attitude you is everything.
I will get there.
Yeah, all of us. That's why we are doing this, right? Thinking about it. Yeah. And then the interesting thing is, once we develop this, then when you're offering that, you will be so humble, and you will be so, and then there is one bhajan. I don't know if you have heard of it. Ajab hairan hu main kaise, I don't know the exact word, kaise rijhaun tujhe, because it's saying jo sabko deta hai usko main kya de sakti hu, right? It sounds so hollow. Right, or जो बोलते हैं ना कि somebody is trying to make a murti of Bhagwan, is saying, oh my God, how do I make your face? You are the main one who make everybody's face. Yeah, tera tujhko arpan. But whatever I do, it's like I've borrowed it from you only. So what can it's like, one of the students in my 10th grade said, it's like, taking a little computer and giving it to Apple CEO. I thought, oh yeah, that's So, but, it's something like this. When your children are little, they will give you some gift. And they're buying it from your money only. They're telling you to take you in the car and everything. And then when they give it to you and make a little card or something, you feel so happy. Has your mom kept your cards?
I have my grandchildren.
Yeah. So what does it tell you? It's just the bhav. That's why you are so precious. Bhagavan is the same way. He will take your bhav. That thing doesn't mean anything. And when we read Swamiji's commentary, he has brought out such beautiful points, and you will immediately connect to what he's saying. Yeah.
one good explanation for bhakta. Bhakti means separate.
Separate.
Who is not separate from God is bhakti.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
जो भगवान से अलग नहीं है.
Oh yeah, बिल्कुल. So that is the highest, but this is just steps to get there. Shall we read?
You told the highest.
Sorry?
Become one. You told the highest.
Yes.
And at the same, when I read it, I didn't go that high. And I thought, well, everything is him alone. So what is mine is my feelings, my mind. And that's what I can offer. Because when I'm offering, that's the only thing I can offer.
Absolutely. And that's what one point, yes.
Because everything is him. I'm him alone.
Yeah.
That's it. But the feeling is different. That's the only thing. That's through him, but that's the only thing that I carry with the ego.
Ego, exactly.
And
so
that's
what they say that, when you say, okay, what can I give Bhagwan? So if everything belongs to him, the only thing that doesn't belong to him is your ego. Think about it. It's false.
Ego and desire.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the two things, you just drop it. And then you can become one. So it's so true. That was a very good point. Yeah.
The hardest thing for me is to say that the children, everything else I think I can say, okay, it doesn't belong to me, or they don't belong to me. But when it comes to children, that's the hardest thing.
But if you sit down and think about it,
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
it's a fact of life.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that...
Because we think that, mine and mine, but we really, didn't do that much. And we cannot even demand that mere ko aisa chahiye bachcha. Anybody can do that? Make a list. All of us will do that, right? Here is a gift. Take it. Take care of it. That's it. So our teacher used to say, you are the babysitter on this earth.
It is first step actually. Jesus
Yeah.
and what
So I'm just thinking that the birds, animals, they always let their siblings go.
They want them to become independent. Yes.
They're just like, so they are more into Bhagwan, or they're feeling like they let it go.
Because they don't have any chhal kapat, any swath, selfish thing. What for us, the reason we want to hold on, because it's for our selfish thing. The moment you think, hey, maybe this person needs to progress and all that, you are a caretaker. So you guide, you love them, you do. Of course, it's a gift. God has given you, a gift. So you love that. But you can be like selfish and do from the selfish point of view. It's hard, but the more we're thinking, there is a very beautiful poem by Khalil Gibran. If any of you have read it. It says the children are, they come through you, they don't belong to you. That's the whole idea. I will maybe put it, because it has a lot of contemplation in it. It's just
You
like
did
a big
once.
I did, yeah, but
was.
now there's so many new people. So that poem helped me
Yes.
to remind me, that that's what it is.
I would like to listen to that one.
Yeah. It is, the poet is Khalil Gibran. He's, I think, from Lebanon. Very famous poet with a lot of philosophy. And that poem about children is the most famous one in the world. Yeah. Okay, so whoever has a book can follow. You'll have to speak a little louder today.
That's fine. Should we read the top one also? Can mere worship be devoted?
Huh?
The top one.
Yeah, you can. She's starting from the one paragraph up.
Yeah, before the shloka is
Before the shloka. Okay, she's starting from there.
Can mere worship with devoted thoughts, however sincere, bring about such an absolute success? Is it not necessary that we should pursue all the elaborate rituals that the Vedas prescribe and often seem to insist upon? Listen. Whoever offers me with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, that I accept, offered by the pure-minded with devotion. There is no religion in the world which does not recognize and encourage offerings by the devotees. The modern educated man is rather surprised as to why the infinite Lord in all religions, needs insignificant things like a spoon of oil for his lamp, or a candle, or even an edifice to house himself, be it a church, a mosque, or a temple. Dreary intellects, poisoned with their own misunderstandings, having even come shamelessly to insist that these houses of gods should be converted into hospitals and schools, lunatics asylums, and maternity homes.
So here Swamiji is telling one fact, that this kind of ritualistic offering is done in every religion, right? No matter what it is. So he's saying that some people, and they sometimes in some groups and all, I have seen they criticize, why do you need another mandir? Have you heard of that from people?
Yes.
Hey, why don't they make the hospital and things like that? So one time I was thinking about it and I wrote a whole essay. So why should we? I said, mandir is not just a place, to do just a little ritual or something. There are people who come and bow down their head. They learn how to be humble. They need some peace. They need some quiet. It's a cultural center. I said, and mandirs are always done with donation. Nobody takes government money, right? So he's saying that if you want to stop the mandir, go stop the bars first. Go stop. Why you need that? Why you need all the libraries, and why you need like whatever they make with so much money they make, library or kya bolte hai usko, huh?
Museums.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Museums. And also, if somebody, it's like it's somebody's hard-earned money. If they think that they want to give it, that's their choice. You're not going to go ask somebody that, how much you're spending for a party. This is a personal choice. So तुमको तकलीफ क्या है? Then they have no answer. So that's one point. But what Swamiji is going to, and there is one big explanation in the bottom he gave. He's saying, if the society is so low that everybody is like lunatic and crazy, then you have more asylum. Who's saying no? But for reasonably sane people, mandir is a beautiful place. Right? That's what he's trying to say, because there is a lot of criticism, and especially, when he came to preach Vedanta and all that, he was preaching it to all the so-called educated people at that time. And that's the first thing they would say, why do you need mandir? Why do you need guru? Why do you need this? Very putting a wall. So that's why he's using these strong words. Hey, that, if we want to connect to something higher, it's a place that you connect. Like if I want, these days because of internet, I can sit on the web, and maybe before the internet, I had to go to the library if I wanted something, right? So why do you need? Because that's the place I can connect, So that's how you have to look at it.
And there's vibes. They're all around it. When you go in the temple, there's a different atmosphere.
Right, because you have a little pure mind, so you feel the vibe. These people who don't feel the vibe, that's why they're saying it. Because they shut their mind so much. They're so disturbed that उनको मंदिर में आके भी उसको वो शांति नहीं मिलती है उनको, तब बोलना शुरू करते हैं उल्टी सीधी बातें.
For me, it is joy and peace when I come.
Exactly. Yes. Because you connect to the vibe. Because whoever comes here with a humility a little bit. Nobody comes here with a big attitude. Otherwise they'll stay out only. They won't come in, right? So that's what it is. Yeah.
But I believe that I am talking to a world which has not come to this depth of depravity, not yet, in a society where there is still the play of healthy hearts and virulent intellects. There is certainly a need for temples and worship. And in these houses of God, it is not the elaborateness of the ritual, nor the intricacies of design, nor the splendor of gold and wealth exhibited, nor even the number of devotees attending that contribute to their essential success.
So, he's saying that as long as there are like healthy people, healthy hearts, who we will need temple of worship and things like that. And then now he's bringing another point. These things are nice to have a beautiful temple and all that, and a lot of people coming in, but that's not what makes it a success. So he's going to tell us now what will make it successful.
The Gita was written at a time when ritualism had become so elaborate that the then Hindu religion had become unavailable for the ordinary people. The simple folk were left with no fuel to satisfy their spiritual quest. Is that your answer?
Yeah, I guess. So he's just talking about that. Even now it is like that. Again, it's become, like so many rituals and all, which is fine, but sometimes we don't even know why we are doing it. And we are copying other people. Somebody is doing some puja, I have to do it, do this, that. And then the ordinary people, they may not have the means, right? To do some elaborate thing and make this kind of khana and bring 200 people, So that's why Krishna Bhagwan is bringing it down to a very simple thing. None of that. If you have the means, you have the time, you have the inclination, go and do it. But that's not necessary to please God.
Arjuna was one of those confused members of then society who had in him this ritualistic faith deeply ingrained, and when Krishna was giving the simpler method of intense self-application, Arjuna was all the more confused. To him, religion without ritualism was almost meaningless. To reassure Arjuna, and through the Pandava prince, the generation of devotees who would be students of the Gita, the Lord explains here that it is not what you offer, but how you offer is that which guarantees the result.
So this last sentence says everything, right? Now what you offer, but how you offer. And that's why that I came back to that little kid offering a simple card, scribbling something meaningless, but doing with so much love that you treasure it, If we do it in the world, why Bhagwan will not treasure it? So that's what it is. And then the other thing I want to tell you that Arjuna was like, he had studied the Vedas in his Gurukul, everything, right? And Vedas, 80% is Karm Kand, like how to fulfill your desire in a dharmic way. But then elaborate rituals, and also he was so used to, and in India, so we are masters of ritual, right? You can be doing all day. Every day can be a tyohar. This puja, that puja. If you are enjoying, but don't make it like a burdensome, because Bhagwan really doesn't need anything. He just needs your true how. We have to remind ourselves. Then we will simplify it. And we won't be stressed about it, I think. That's how I'm looking at it,
Today, at the various divine altars of worship available all over the world, it is the mortal priest who decides what the immortal expects from the paltry pockets of the faithful. Here, almost always, it is more the expression of the priest's own desires rather than the demand of the Lord in the idol. In the Gita, however, we find in this stanza the Supreme Himself expressing what would please Him the most. This statement has the assurance of something from the horse's mouth.
So now we nobody needs to tell us. When we go back to India, you go to any mandir, सबसे पहले वो आ जाएंगे, ये पूजा करो, वो पूजा करो. And sometimes when you don't do it, one time this guy said, तुम अपने पति के लिए इतना भी नहीं कर सकती? Making you feel so guilty.
Now business become business.
Oh yes, that's what. So he's saying that, hey, look what Krishna Bhagwan is saying himself. Hey, I don't need all of that. So then we should not get blackmailed by them at all. So, don't feel bad if you have to say no to them, because they kind of work on your emotions. So here Bhagwan is saying from his own mouth.
First thing commercialization was religion.
Yeah, and then,
was quite commercialized.
yeah, and we know, and then here Swamiji ne kaise bola na, कि these are the priests who desire what the immortal wants from the small pockets of the mortal. And I think actually it is a priest's desire, not Bhagwan's desire at all. Bhagwan ne to simply bola, go change and make your mind pure. Create the bhakti. Yeah.
The very language and diction of the stanza clearly ring the note that the material objects that one offers are of no value to the Lord of the universe. But it is the purity and love that prompt the offerings that are accepted by the deity. Be it a leaf a flower, a fruit, or water. It is insignificant what you offer, be it a gold temple or be it a dry leaf. Whosoever with devotion offers, whatever be the offering, the Lord of Vrindavan assures that I accept. For when I lovingly given, it becomes a devout gift, and when it is offered by a sincere, pure-minded student, the Lord has to accept it.
So then, so beautiful, right? That there are two things, devotion and love and pure mind, And one of the saints I remember, उसने इतना अच्छा बोला ना इसके बारे में, पत्रम पुष्पम फलम तोयम के बारे में. He said that when we say flower, तो हिंदी में एक word है सुमन. Suman means flower. So अपना अच्छा मन दो, right? सुमन हो गया. And then fruit का बोला कर्म फल दे दो, right? Because we say don't worry about it. And then water, दो आंसू बहा लो प्रेम के, दे दो. पानी भी की जरूरत नहीं है देने की, अपने आंसू दे दो, right? So इतना अच्छा बोला उन्होंने. So that's what it is. He just requires that. He doesn't need anything else.
In bringing their offerings to any altar, the rich very sadly misunderstands that they are patronizing the Lord of wealth with their ephemeral gold and diamonds. If God were to be purchased, certainly
इसका meaning, I'll tell you the meaning, that's what counts. Merchant who pursuits our materialism. So, with trying to woo you through the materialism.
Yes,
They're giving things. Yeah, that's what that word means.
Okay. Alone can give an entry into the heavens.
He's just saying that if we follow this कि भाई जितना भगवान को दोगे उतना वो खुश हो जाएंगे तो सारे rich लोग फिर वो खरीद लेंगे भगवान को. Right? That's not true at all. The history will tell you, And then we have so many stories. We are master of all the stories. There is a Mahabharat में Krishna Bhagwan comes as a peacemaker and Duryodhan say मेरे महल में चलो because मेरे पास ये है वो है. भगवान बोला नहीं मैं तेरे घर नहीं जाऊँगा. I want to go जहाँ पर मेरा भक्त रहता है विदुर. And the whole story is there. I think it was in one of the TV serial में था कि वो उसको बनाना दे रही है उसकी वाइफ. तो वो इतना mesmerize हो गई कृष्ण भगवान को देख के वो पील दिया उन्होंने और बनाना को फेंक दिया. And she is eating the peel, right? Because bhakti. And then we know Shabri ka story.
Yes.
Everybody knows. That's what it is. That ये वो झूठे बेर भी खाने को तैयार हो गए. So that's what this is telling you, that you don't need to give anything चांदी की थाली सोने की थाली में. You don't need to.
अगर सोचा जाए बेर भी वही है, खाने वाला भी वही है, थाली भी वही है.
Exactly. अगर वो इतना understanding आ जाए तो फिर तो उसकी भी जरूरत नहीं है. That's what. But this is just to remind us, and then we take baby steps and reach that highest state that you're talking about.
There are more than one carefully coined words in the stanza which explains the theory of sacrifice insisted upon in all religions. No doubt, the Absolute requires no offering at all from the finite mortal to complete its perfection or to maintain its infinite glory. The limited individuals try to offer at the altar of their Lord something that they misappropriate from the Lord's own garden. The world, In a public park, a lover often pinches a flower from the neighboring bush and offers it to his beloved. Similarly, a devotee steals something from the Lord's own palace and offers the same unto him. In fact, when we thus analyze carefully, we know the hollowness of the vanity of offering something unto the Lord.
So we discussed this very clearly. Yes. That we are Swamiji used such a beautiful word, misappropriating from his own garden and giving it back to him. So actually it doesn't have any meaning, but still there is a hidden meaning behind it, because all through that offering you are showing your love and devotion, nothing more than that. That's why I say, why do we have to offer prasad? Because did he take it? It's still sitting there. He's picked up the love and devotion and he's giving back to you, right? He's just taken whatever he needed from it. So it definitely has a meaning.
And yet, This is insisted upon as an important technique in all forms of worship. In offering a flower or a fruit unto the Lord, if the devotee feels that he is making a sacrifice of the very thing that he offers, he is misusing the very act. The flower here serves only the purpose of a spoon in conveying something unto the Lord. While taking soup, the man at the table, no doubt, lifts the spoon many times up to the mouth, and at the end of the dinner, the spoon remains the same as before, having finished its work. The flowers or the fruits in the garden and in the temple remain the same, but when the devotee gathers and carries them to the altar and offers them, they become the conveyors of his own love and dedication unto the Lord of his heart.
I mean, Swamiji came up with such a brilliant example that what does the spoon do? We're not eating the spoon. It's just taking the soup, taking it to our mouth and going again and doing that. It's just a conveyor of the food. Same way, whatever we offer is just a means to convey our love and devotion. That's what it is. I think this was the most brilliant example, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. No doubt will remain in our mind anymore. Yeah.
This idea has been brought out in this stanza when the Lord says, "That I accept the devout gift of the pure-minded."
So we know that the pure mind is very important, and then the next verse there it summarizes the thing.
Therefore, on the whole, it is clear that an offering can be efficient only when it is accompanied by the two required conditions, offered with devotion and when it is by the pure-minded. To the extent these features are absent, all offerings are mere economic waste and superstition breeding false beliefs. If properly done, it can serve as a good vehicle to tread the spiritual path of self-development.
So he summarized the whole thing that the most important thing is devotion and pure mind. And if you don't have those two, everything else is an economic waste according to him. And this serves as a vehicle for self-development. And the next verse is like the highest kind of bhakti that we should strive for. You know, that what we discussed in detail, samarpan. You know, and reminding ourselves that nothing belongs to us, including our children. They are independent beings, you know, and they will face the same thing when they grow up. So, this is any question, comment? Anybody want to add anything to the whole thing?
I guess for me, when I think about it, the question is, when I think something belongs to me, what does that actually mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good question. What does it? I think just we are the caretaker. So he's not saying that whatever I gave you doesn't belong to you, so fake those. Nothing like that. Hey, you make the best use of it, but you don't have the attachment. You know, that's all it means. And if you have some means, we can share it with others. Whatever, you know. And it doesn't have to be just a material thing. It can be a talent, it can be your time, it can be anything. None of that belongs to us.
Yeah. And the pleasure you get from sharing is...
Exactly.
more.
You become happy anyway.
Yeah.
You become pure-minded anyway. So, true. So, these are I find Bhagavad Gita a very contemplative subject. And especially when we go back to it, you see the simplicity of it. Because our religion has sometimes made it so complicated, and these so-called, false pundits, they will make you feel so bad and all that. Hey, you are coming here for peace of mind and feeling happy. If you're going all upset and angry, then something is not right? So, but if we go back to Lord Krishna's words, sweetest, simplest, anybody can do it. Doesn't require anything that big. That's what I think. After learning this way from Chinmayananji and Chinmayananji, that's how I kind of felt. I felt so happy about it. There's so much value, there's so much science in it, so much simplicity, So, yeah.
Meaning of life can be learned from trees. To give and grow and give.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Only two things. To grow
And give. And I think they have a giving tree karke. They have a story for children. Has anybody read that? A giving tree?
Yeah.
Yeah? That is the best story because the tree gives after it dies also. People make use of it. And then without the wood, especially in our Hindu religion, we can't do anything. Marne ke baad we need that. You know? So, and even the cow, I heard, is the same. Cow, you know, they say, oh, we worship cow. Actually, we respect it, we revere it because it takes the least from the earth, just grass which grows everywhere, it gives maximum, even after death. Even uska jo urine and uska feces are also used. Imagine, you know, when you talk about giving, I think a tree and a cow, you can't beat it. Can't beat it. Beautiful Trishtant.
Yeah, nobody got sick with losing feces, cow's feces. Actually, it's
Oh,
We burn it,
exactly.
yeah.
It has so much medicinal thing, and then it's antibacterial.
Yeah.
They put it all around and things like that.
people used to build like floors.
Exactly. And keeps giving, and the milk, how nutrition it is. We all survive on that, especially babies after the mother's milk. You know, that we all are sustained by it. So true. You know, these are very nice verses. Okay, any other comment, question? I can close it then, Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.